Why do you feel stuck even though you're smart? You're more than capable. You know how to execute. You've studied the systems. You've implemented the frameworks. You stayed current. And yet, you still feel like you're marking time. Nothing devastating is happening in your business, but nothing's moving either. And that's confusing because you're usually the sharp one in the room and you figure it out before everybody else does. But there's something I've observed that most people won't say out loud. Smart entrepreneurs don't feel stuck because they lack strategy. They feel stuck because they've overridden their own judgment too many times. Now, override doesn't mean you're reckless. It means that you probably come to a conclusion about something and you replaced it with someone else's certainty. Not because you're weak, but because you didn't want to choose wrong. That's an altogether different vibe. So, what does that look like in daily life? Maybe you decide it's time to write the book. The idea won't leave you alone. You know it's an asset. You know it compounds. You know it positions you as an authority in your field. And then, all of a sudden, a new, faster way to get clients shows up in your feed. What do? You check it out because you're responsible. You'd like to stay informed and you don't want to fall behind. But before you know it, you're 3 layers deep into someone else's system. And the book, it's quiet. Crickets. It's no longer calling you. Not because it was wrong, but because you overruled your own timing. That's how smart builders get stuck. Not from ignorance, from an authorized distraction. Yeah. And a daily reality for smart entrepreneurs is seeing the complexity in things. You're not hesitant, you're thorough. You see trade offs, long term implications, second and third order consequences. And that's a strength. But here's the trap. Complexity gives you something to think about when what you really need to be doing is making a choice. The digging feels productive. Comparing software, evaluating systems, optimizing tools. You look up and weeks have passed by. You knew which one was sufficient. But what if kept you orbiting, going around in circles? That's not incompetence. That's permission to override the objective. Now, smart people may also choose to seek approval. You share your vision with someone who doesn't carry it. Not because you need permission, because you want support. They hesitate. They offer alternatives. They speak confidently. And suddenly, your internal certainty softens. Not because they're malicious, but because they sound sure. That's how approval hijacks judgment. You were certain, but you inadvertently deferred decision to someone else. Or maybe you just decide to let the chips fall where they may, because drifting feels safer. I'll decide tomorrow. I just need more data. I need to tweak this one more time. But delay creates an environment of unease, background tension, cognitive drag. That client you need to fire, you already decided. You just haven't executed. And every day you wait, your energy leaks. That's not strategy. That's avoidance disguised as caution. Now, the problem isn't strategy. The problem is self-betrayal. You've overridden your own stop signs. You've discounted your own solutions. And over time, you've trained yourself not to trust yourself. Your brain has evidence that you don't follow through. So when it's time to act, it hesitates. Not because you're incapable, because you've weakened your internal trust. Sometimes being stuck isn't about effort. It's about what you're waiting for. Your brain is waiting for your approval to act. If you're stuck and you're smart, the problem isn't intelligence. It's that you've trusted louder voices over your own evaluation. But that can change. Trust rebuilds through action. One decision executed, and then another. A wrong decision isn't failure. It's data. And there is always the next decision. Clean decisions create momentum. And if this resonated with you, I'm smart, but I feel stuck. Comment stuck below. And if you want to get clear on what this looks like in your business, you can take the Decision Reset Assessment. The link is in the description below. Because trust doesn't rebuild through thinking, it rebuilds through action. There are no wrong decisions, only data. And in the next video, we'll talk about how that data actually gets interpreted inside your business planning system.